Today we're driving the all-new 2021 Mercedes-Benz S580. This is the new S-Class. I've been driving this for the last few days, and I've got to say, guys, this thing has absolutely blown me away. There are so many new features, so much new tech, so much innovative stuff that they've put into this Mercedes that, I mean, the S-Class has always tried to stay about 5 to 10 years ahead of the curve, and I think Mercedes-Benz has definitely achieved that with this new model. We have a lot to go over, a lot to discuss in this video. So let's walk you around this, show you some of the stuff on the inside and outside. Just some numbers: $117,000 MSRP for this S580. We have a 4-liter Biturbo V8, 496 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. All S-classes are now all-wheel drive. This has adaptive air suspension. It can raise, it can lower depending on your drive modes or if you need a little bit more ground clearance. This also has the 48-volt mild hybrid EQ boost, which gives a little bit of torque fill. So I think it's around 180 pound-feet of torque from the electric motor, and it's nice. It feels really good. It assists in stop-start, aids in fuel efficiency, and just makes this thing a really fast, smooth luxury car. We're on winter tires today because it's almost November and it's getting pretty chilly out. Let's hop inside, start this up. Approach the car, put your hand up to the door, and the handles just pop out. Take a look at this interior. Just wild. We filmed a POV night drive last night where you really got a chance to explore the ambient lighting. So we are presented with a bunch of screens. We have this massive gauge cluster, a really nice head-up display. It even integrates augmented reality into cruise control and navigation directions. We'll play around with that a little bit later in this video. And we have this all-new touch display. It is enormous. Gone is the touchpad, which I don't really miss, and we have this touchscreen, which works quite well. We have a bunch of settings, a bunch of features. This climate control menu remains intact there all the time. You have a home button with just a little bit of haptic feedback. And of course, you can also control this with these touch steering wheel controls. Not a huge fan of these touch-only steering wheel controls at first, but the more I use them, the more I realize how much more accurate they are than the previous generation, and they're actually pretty nice. So you can go in and change your gauge cluster, your displays, all sorts of different options. You can have a sport gauge cluster. You can have a more minimal, understated gauge cluster. Whatever strikes your fancy in your Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Here are the classic gauges. Those look pretty sharp too. Yeah, just lots of options. And though you can't appreciate it through the lens, there are also 3D gauges, which are just super trippy to see in real life. It looks like you can just reach into the screen and grab something. It's pretty amazing, and it uses eye tracking technology to kind of track your position and figure out the 3D nature of everything accordingly. We're going to turn that off for the video, though, just because you probably can't appreciate it unless if you're here in person. As always, with the S-Class, customization and personalization is the name of the game, and there is a lot of that to be had here. Let's delve into this infotainment here. So we have a lot of different apps that we can control. We have weather, we have a dash cam, which is very useful. I think all new cars should have dash cams these days. Pretty nice. You can control the stuff on the steering wheel too. And then a lot of comfort settings. Oh my gosh, the seat controls, everything just kind of goes on forever. We have massaging seats, lumbar adjustment with the screen. Pretty freaky. You can adjust your shoulders, your side bolsters, and then, of course, tons of ambient lighting settings. You can adjust the brightness, what color. They all have different names. This is Red Moon. That's pretty cool. There's one thing for certain that I've learned driving this car this week is that whatever you're doing, whatever traffic or situation that you're driving in, you remain calm and relaxed the whole time. And these energizing comfort settings just kind of further instill that in the philosophy of the car. Pretty cool. All right, so we won't spend too much time going through all these settings, but it really just kind of dominates the experience here. This is where all the new tech is, and of course the driving experience is pretty unparalleled here too. But down here we get a couple of cup holders, a couple USB-C ports, wireless charging, a little bit of storage down here, which is nice. And this interior is just absolutely stunning. The materials, the fit, the finish, everything is top-notch. We have this 4D high-end Burmester sound system, which is just phenomenal. I think it's about a $6,700 option, worth every penny. Lots of different driving assistance features, steering assist, lane change, automatic lane change on the highway. We'll play around with that on the drive too. We have a few different info displays here. We can see our horsepower, vehicle dynamics over bumps, around corners, see the suspension, whether it's lifted up or lowered. We have a couple of window shades in the rear and over the back window, and they pretty much have full window coverage, which is pretty awesome. Put those down if we want. Sunroof controls. You can swipe to move the shade or press to move the actual sunroof. We have a big speaker right here in the middle of the roof. This has a 9-speed automatic transmission, column shifter right here. Let's hop in the back seat and show you guys some of the fun stuff back there. Soft closed doors too. Set to my driving position at 5'10", I can pretty much stretch out in this S-Class. We do not have the seats that fully recline in this one, but that is a pretty cool option. Love these double sunroofs. These pillows on the back of every headrest. Individual seat controls, heated and cooled seats for both rear passengers. A couple more USB-C ports, 115-volt plug outlet. We've got an armrest right here with a couple of cup holders. They'll just pop out like that. Pretty nifty. A little bit more storage. And then, of course, here's the ski pass-through. Except for lacking a few features, this is Maybach levels of comfort in the back. Incredibly solid doors. And everything in this S-Class is just a completely silent operation. The motors to raise the rear trunk lid, silent. A little bit more storage underneath there too. Got a tow hook. And you can fit a couple golf bags back here, but sideways, not lengthwise, unfortunately. Seems like a nice long trunk, but there's quite a bit of space here that's being impeded upon. I'm not sure if there's battery stuff in there, or this looks like a speaker on this side. Not the biggest trunk that I've seen for a full-size luxury car. Still though, should get you and your friends to where you need to go. I like the design on this new S-Class too. It's understated, and on the inside, it's just a party. It's pretty insane in here. The seats are pretty wild. Let's pop the hood. Just a double pull to release the hood. Not much to see here, but a very quiet, smooth, refined powertrain. Very smooth, very fast, surprisingly quick for the 4,700 pound curb weight or thereabouts. I like these wheels too. Not too big, still retain a good amount of sidewall. And you can see we're on Pirelli winter tires today. All right, I think let's take this for a drive. We've shown you a lot of stuff with this infotainment. One thing I do really like about this new screen is that Apple CarPlay is it's finally full size instead of like the cutout version that it used to be in the previous generation MBUX systems. Before we get started with today's drive, I would like to thank our sponsor for this video, Phantom Wallet. This is my daily wallet. It's a well-engineered product that I really have enjoyed using the last year or so. This is the Phantom R. It's their higher-end model. You can bolt on a number of different attachments to the back. This is the key holder attachment, and I really like this because it kind of combines everything that I need out of my wallet. I can hold my keys, I can have a money clip on the other side that I bolt on, hold some cash, and I can fan out all my cards like this. There are a number of different finishes, color choices, card capacities, pretty much customizable to anything that you need. Check them out at phantomwallet.com and use the code TOPHER for 10% off your order. I would like to see a few more quick access controls. Like if you were listening to music and you wanted to quickly switch to your navigation and CarPlay, you have to do about 3 or 4 inputs, and it would be nice to have just a quick control for navigation. Take me to whatever is running. Speaking of which, let's route to a destination and play around with this augmented reality. I feel like people barely use in-car navigation anymore, but this S-Class makes a pretty good case for it. Before we do, let's check out some of the 360 cameras though. Lots of different views we can see here too. You've also got this parking camera where you can see a 360 view around the car. Nothing new here, but still a cool feature. All right, we'll head off. Switch up our ambient lighting here. We'll do a slightly less garish color. Pretty cool head-up display. We've got a lot of information here. It's telling us in 500 feet we need to turn right. It almost makes it so that you don't need to look down at any of the screens, which is kind of cool. Also with this EQ boost, the mild hybrid system, the engine will turn off at stoplights and will seamlessly come back on. No starter noise, just the RPMs just rise back up to about 800 RPM. You can turn that off very quickly here with the stop start off button. We have a few different drive modes. We are in comfort right now. You have eco, where you let off the throttle, the engine will turn off. That's kind of cool. Comfort, sport, and sport plus. You can also set an individual mode if you choose. Sport plus lowers the suspension, I believe 0.7 inches, and really stiffens up the car in a very pleasing manner. It's not too firm, not too stiff, but it handles incredibly well. We also have 4.5 degrees of rear wheel steering, which just makes this handles like a sports car. It's incredible. On winter tires, we have excellent steering, really amazing feel. I mean, Mercedes has nailed the dynamics in this car, and the things that it does at this price point, I can't really think of many other cars that drive like this for 120 grand or 150 grand. So we are in Sport Plus right now. Hoping we can get around this FedEx truck. I think we can. It's telling me to exit. Look at those arrows. And check out this grip. When you have 4 wheels to steer, you turn in, and you can just keep turning harder and harder, and it just keeps gripping. It is insane. As quiet at 80 as it is at 30. Just incredibly smooth and comfortable. Really, the only way this car could be quieter and smoother is if it were all electric. And as it sits, I really like this 4-liter V8. The mild hybrid system provides a really nice level of torque fill. You can see it acting down there in this little gauge. So when you let off the throttle, the system will charge. When you get into it, it'll provide a little bit of power until the turbos kick on. The The suspension is a little bit floaty in comfort mode, but it's just about what you would expect from an air suspension system from Mercedes. It is so nice and so comfortable. And if you want it to stiffen up a little bit, you can put it into sport mode at no detriment to much else. Of course, you also have individual, where you can configure everything on its own. Lots of different settings. You can change suspension, steering, drive modes, stability control. All of it is customizable. You can see the ambient lighting also reacts to various parameters. So if you're raising the temperature in the cabin, it'll show you little red dots. If you're lowering the temperature, little blue dots. Anyway, you guys get the idea with the AR navigation. Pretty cool. Hey Mercedes, stop navigation. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Stop navigation.
Route guidance cancel.
There you go. Easy as that. Let's hop into Apple CarPlay here. Oh, we've got some open road. Let's test out a 0 to 60 run here. This 9-speed is perfection. Super smooth shifts, very fast. Sport mode, you get a little bit more intensity out of everything. V8 sounds good too. With a 4-wheel steer, this is actually a pretty fun car to drive too. Put it back into comfort here, maybe just sport. One thing I have to show you guys is this turning radius. So check this out. This is pretty wild. It just turns on the rear wheels. It's a tighter turning radius than some hatchbacks. Dynamically, this is a pretty fun car to drive too. Of course, they're going to be crazy AMG variants coming out with this platform and building upon that in terms of with more power and better handling and different appearance packages. But as it sits, this S580 is just about the perfect blend of performance, comfort, luxury, all of it. It blows me away that what Mercedes has done here. They've truly made the benchmark for the next generation of luxury vehicles. Back into Sport Plus. There's a little bit of body roll when you first set into a corner. That could be the winter tires. It could just be the air suspension, just kind of adapting and adjusting too. But not a bad thing. The handling here for the wheelbase and the weight is pretty incredible. And that's mostly thanks to the air suspension and the 4-wheel steer. All right, let's hit cruise control and test out some of these driving assistance features. All week I've been using the adaptive cruise and the lane change assist. It's been a really nice system. You can quickly change 5-mile-an-hour increments with just a tap. And honestly, the more I use these steering wheel controls, the better I get at placing my hand and knowing where I want them to be. You can change your following distance very easily too, and that will also show you an augmented reality kind of a little line that'll follow the car in front of you. We'll see if we can get these cars around us and show you guys what that looks like. So you do have to keep your hand on the steering wheel. There are little sensors in the rim that will tell if you're gripping the wheel or not. We'll do an auto lane change, pretty cool. And you can see that following distance, how that line is just following the rear bumper of the car in front of you. Pretty cool. And it'll even show you a visualization of what each following distance setting looks like and how closely you're going to be behind the car. We'll do another lane change. I mean, at highway speeds, this thing pretty much drives itself. Pretty cool tech. Look at that. Alright, we'll turn this off. Take another entrance ramp. Throw it into Sport Plus again. And we're on winter tires today, guys. Pretty cool stuff. It's nice to see Mercedes still innovating in their flagship luxury S-Class. I gotta say, guys, this is next level stuff. Very excited to drive some of the new electric offerings too from Mercedes. We'll see if we can get behind the wheel of something here soon. But until then, this S-Class is just phenomenal. Had no idea really what to expect with this car this week. I didn't really know much about it. And the more time I've spent with it, the more I've been impressed by its capabilities and all of the secrets that it holds. Pretty cool. All right, thanks for watching. Check out that POV night drive if you haven't already. We also did a sound system test. It's brief, but kind of gives you an idea of how nice this sound system is. There's just speakers everywhere, and the Burmester 4D audio is just, it's pretty insane. All right, well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll also be posting some winding road videos on this S-Class, and I'm sure Charlie from Daily Motor will have a few up as well.